Do you feel like you're solely responsible for your food decisions? Most of us like to think we're entirely in control of what we eat, and that as parents, we completely are responsible for our children's diets. I agree that as individuals, we play a central role in our own food choices and those of our families. But that's not the whole story. Even the best intentioned and most disciplined person can't always be in control of what we eat, and this can happen to us without us even realizing it. Let's use a familiar example. It's something you do when you're rushing home from work, while tackling your weekend errands, and in the mad rush in the 5 minutes before the store closes. Grocery shopping. We walk through the aisles, decide what to put in our cart, and buy it. That's all there is to it, right? Well, if that were true, most of our carts would look a bit different. In addition to what's on our list, we make a lot of spontaneous purchases. We buy things we don't need, and sometimes we buy things we don't even want. To explain why, let's look at 3 different concepts: the unconscious mind, defaults, and willpower reserves. We called this lecture Anatomy of a Supermarket Purchase because we're going to use these 3 concepts to break down what's really going on behind the scenes when we buy food at the supermarket. First, let's talk about the unconscious mind, and I don't mean hypnotism. Think about driving a car on the highway. It requires complex coordination. But have you ever snapped out of a train of thought to realize you've been driving along the highway without consciously thinking about it? An experienced driver relies on habit, like autopilot. That's an example of the unconscious mind at work. How does that apply to supermarkets? Well, even if our conscious mind isn't swayed by food ads, our unconscious mind might be. Before you set foot inside a supermarket, you're exposed to ads for many of the products inside. There are 4,500 marketing messages for foods, cars, appliances, and other consumer goods per person per day in the United States. That's 1 ad for every 14 seconds you're awake. Think about it. Would the U.S. food industry spend $33 billion each year on marketing if it didn't work?